Hello, my name is Gwendolyn. I'm the daughter of Cody and Christine Brown from SisterWives. I'm going to be recapping my experience, which I consider to be pretty unique as a queer autistic woman, and especially as a subject of reality television show for this season 17, episode 6 of SisterWives.
I need to tell Truly I'm leaving her dad, so I need to talk to Cody. She needs to know sooner rather than later.
I'm glad she decided this is an important thing to talk about.
So I don't want it to accidentally slip. Isabel and Gwendolyn know. I want her to see us as a team. She's had friends whose parents had divorces and it's been very ugly, and I don't want her to think that it's going to be like that for her.
I don't know how I feel about that. So I've been basically avoiding telling her.
That's fair.
In some idealistic and naive way, I still think maybe we can get reconciled.
That is not as fair. Nope.
I guess maybe I'm just in a state of denial.
You are.
First of all, I need to start taking her with me and maybe have her for a few days at a time.
Okay, what's good? He's like being active in her life now.
3 or 4 days, we'll get a bed for her or whatever, okay?
I'd like a separate bedroom for her. What are you thinking?
Wait, that's awesome.
I would love it if Cody took Truly for a few days. If that's something, I would love him to have a great relationship with all of my kids.
Here's the thing, when people are losing something, if you give them something.
That's valid. He said, I'm going to give you a relationship with me as your father for once.
There's always a chance that Cody and Christine could figure something out, maybe a little bit later down the line. You just never know.
I don't want to bully you because, like, this was such a long time ago, but, like, it's just too bad. All of these people have faith, and it's like, no, this is never going to happen. They're done for, which I think is great for both of them, and I hope they are feeling a lot better about it.
She needs to be told.
Yeah, it's not crap I want her to have to deal with at 10 years old.
I know, 11, but she's a smart kid, and
He did not just get her age wrong.
is gonna realize something.
Okay, so I understand the timeline now. She was 11 then, she's 12 now. Perfect. I really hope she's 12. That would be really embarrassing if I was wrong about my sister's age.
I'm trying to clear spots in the garage so I can put boxes in there. Oh yeah, your stuff in the garage, you need to check it out.
That is hilarious. She said you gotta get your stuff out. It's taking up space.
With
You wanna go
Janelle's
look in
stuff.
the garage right now and I'll just point out the stuff? And then if I'm not home, you can just take stuff.
No, we can wait.
Oh no, he's delaying it. That is so cute.
I don't want to move my stuff out.
That's fair. But like, they're over now.
Okay, what about, are you going to want your food storage? Are you going to want...
Just take it. I'll start over.
That's sweet of her. She probably won't start over. Screw that stuff.
We buy 5 50-pound bags of flour at a time, put them in the food storage room, and get
Oh
the
my
flour when
goodness.
we need it. And we buy oats by the bulk.
I was just talking about this with Beatrice like the other day. Like, this is such a Mormon thing.
This food storage thing is something that's very cultural for us.
Yeah. The funny thing is, she's like, we should do food storage. And I'm like, are you trying to convert me? Because it's not going to work. We're watching The Walking Dead, and she's convinced that, like, something bad's going to happen. She's like, we have to have food storage just in case.
Like, have food storage in case the end of the world comes.
When the economy collapses, the second coming of Christ.
Flood, a snowstorm, tornadoes.
My mother always had it. My grandmother had it. Nope, I don't really have any food storage.
We bought this as a family. And I'm like, well, do you want your share of this food storage? And Christine's like, no. I think that's stupid.
I feel like it just trains you to live in fear.
I'm not part of the Mormon faith. I'm not part of our church anymore. But as far as the belief in food storage and things like that, I'm not going to live in fear like that.
Exactly. You're just afraid that something bad's gonna happen. That's a lot of things with Mormonism, is that you're afraid. She doesn't want to be afraid anymore.
I feel like she's done this as a backstab because she could have started talking to me about our relationship a long time ago.
I feel like most people could tell that she was like on her way out. Like emotionally. She was like tired of this relationship and not feeling as loved as she deserves to be.
Okay, so we'll wait on Truly. I mean, in the end, I'm still not going to tell Truly. Cody is not ready to tell Truly. And I want to play nice, and I want to play fair.
That's fair, but it's so important to tell her. Oh, the longer they delay, I feel like the worse her reaction's gonna be.
Here's the thing. She makes a decision, and she wants me to answer right now. I'm not ready to make a decision about that with Truly, and I would prefer not to tell
I get
her.
it. It's fair that he doesn't want to tell her because he's like afraid that he wants to like protect her and stuff. But she needs to know eventually.
So I did something crazy. I bought a trailer. I'm moving out
Good
on
for
the
you.
property.
Oh my gosh, Meri, I haven't ever stayed here.
I haven't stayed at Mary's B&B because, well,
It's haunted. And I don't do haunted.
I thought she was gonna give like some salty reason. What?
There's a ghost that hangs out in this room.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that there was like somebody holding that child. And I just saw it like float out and I was like, it is haunted.
I'm glad we said I didn't see a ghost for the record. I didn't see a ghost.
If you want help with your mortgage, I'll buy that room.
Didn't he just try to get rid of her last episode? I wouldn't.
I need to get back so I can test.
Cody doesn't feel like he can be away from the little kids at Robin's house more than 2 or 3 days at a time.
2 or 3 days? That's excessive. Well, not excessive. They should actually be able to be around their father as often as they want. But there are a ton of us that are like missing out on it. And we're missing out on it.
I feel like my relationship with Meri is very good, but it's not a married situation. Right now, I'm in the gall of bitterness with Christine.
Oh, bitterness.
On the other hand, I'm not feeling betrayed by Meri. I feel betrayed by Christine.
For divorcing you? I don't know. It was really a peaceful divorce from what I'm seeing.
Isabel's moving to North Carolina. She's going to go to a college really close to where Maddie and Caleb live.
I love that Hunter's just always there. Like, if there's ever an event, he's just there.
But it's hard. It's really hard to have her go.
Christine's always been pretty close with Madison. So it doesn't surprise me, regardless of the fact that Christine and Cody have split, that Isabel is going to go move in with Madison.
Yeah, I like that it's still like a family.
Stop it! You're a bully!
They spelled my name right. I love when people spell my name right.
Can I just say, Gwendolyn's humor is 90% of the time inappropriate and uncomfortable.
I really proved her right with that scene.
Isabel's stressed out enough that I don't know what this is going to do.
Isabel, what? It's Pride Month. You can't talk to me like that.
I'm bisexual.
I'm a comedic genius. I looked so like mad in that moment and I like wasn't even upset. I was just like, oh. I was a little disappointed, you know? I thought we were going to talk about like the divorce and all of a sudden they're like, we're going to talk about your sexuality, Gwendolyn. We're going to, like, they're like, oh, we have another queer. We're going to exploit that. We're going to make ourselves famous. I'm sure it's not, but it did feel weird. They also had me talk about my autism here too. I was like, that's weird. I thought we were going to talk about my parents' divorce.
We've had just great conversations about it. She teases me about having celebrity crushes on women and that I'm also partially gay. They're just beautiful. I can't help but admire them. But it would only go that far. I'm definitely heterosexual, not interested in, not that close.
She wishes she was gay.
You know, anytime I spend time with Isabel, I spend most of my time doing a lot of work to draw her out of herself. I don't know what it is. I don't think that I'm that big an ogre. You excited?
I'm excited, yeah.
I'm sorry I can't
So
go.
it seems like he understands that she doesn't like being around him. She's uncomfortable around him.
Yeah,
Because your daddy didn't do this for you?
No.
Yeah, she seems very awkward around him.
I think Isabel is probably hurt that I didn't go. But there are people depending on me. More than just Isabel.
She's probably hurt that you weren't very active in her childhood.
I would have done it if we wouldn't have had the COVID thing. But once again, Christine sees this as an excuse.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
She has their ear. I do not have their ear.
That's not true. We were the ones that convinced my mom, or not really convinced her, but we probably dislike our father more than she does.
I think they both deserve to be happy. And I don't think anybody can be happy in a loveless marriage.
And so you're going through these photos. I want to see one. You want? You can take any photos you want. They're
So beautiful.
I'm gonna miss Isabel. I'm not excited for her to leave at all.
When they first asked me, I was like, I'm proud of her. I'm happy that she's leaving. Good for her. And Tim was like, that's a bad response. Tell me how you really feel. I was like, I guess I'll miss her.
And I'm not excited for her to leave.
I think that my relationship with the other parents will always be the relationship that it's always has been. I hope that it won't change. I want them in my life forever. Like, they will always be my siblings.
I agree with Isabel. I don't think anything with our relationships is going to change. Like, it hadn't changed, like, at all. We'll still see each other as, like, our siblings, and we'll still be a family. It doesn't change the fact that we love each other. It's just going to be a little different.
All right, we are on our way to see Janelle's new house, aka fifth wheel trailer.
Ooh, I think this was pre-breast reduction. I haven't talked about this at all. Like, at all. I didn't realize that I hadn't. I'm just going to take a second. Those are pre-breast reduction. Here, they're flat now. I'm very happy about it. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Our biggest concern is Savannah.
We should all get trailer homes and just park out here.
I would never, but I think it's awesome that she's, because it just sounds just like her.
None of us want to live in an RV.
She's doing it for herself. It's not about the other family members.
But what it does for me psychologically is it engages me with the land.
That's cute. Now she's like, I don't even know, mentally prepared to start building, which I don't think will ever happen, but still mentally prepared.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
It was so awkward. He said, hi. Ha.
Hey, you have a new house.
I know, it's big, right?
That's good.
That
That's
was
supportive.
really big.
That's the only way I knew I could do this thing. One thing I will say about Christine, she's going to always try to make you feel better about whatever's going on.
Janelle, you do have storage right there.
You can put shoes in there.
That's good. That's
For
sweet.
soup.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Janelle is trying to sell everybody how cool this is because she thinks it's cool.
No, it's cute. She's excited and they're being supportive.
Christine and Meri think it's stupid.
No, that's not true. We were being supportive. Oh, he's totally bullying her.
Wait a minute, before we go in, how do you like it?
I think it's pretty great.
Are you really? You're excited for this?
Yeah.
Oh, they did such a good job with asking. See, they're excited for her. I like that. See, she needs some people to be excited for her.
I'm impressed with Savannah's attitude. I always tell my kids, you don't always have a choice on what we do, but you just have a choice on your attitude.
That box, I was like involved with an MLM, which is very much like my family for a second. And I was like, I hate it. I hate my life. I hate MLMs. It lasted for like a summer, but I ended up selling Janelle some knives. They're really good knives too, but I hated it because it was total MLM. And I have a full set of them. They're actually amazing knives, but like, despite the good quality, I hated it so much.
This is the area I was most concerned about because I know Savannah, so I was just concerned she would have a place
So I just love all supportiveness.
where she could just shut the door and do her own thing, and she can. Okay,
I love how big it is. It's ginormous. I adore. Part of me felt weird going into her room because like we weren't like allowed into the other mom's rooms because that was like their space, except for like my mom because it's like our space kind of. But I always felt weird to go into one of their rooms. And so even going into her room in the RV, I was like, ooh, none of my business.
Oh, wow. That was a bath. A tiny bath, more like a foot wash.
And then
these like gonna be for like doggies?
this is Savannah's bedroom.
This is their bedroom. Oh,
No, the dogs will live outside here.
No, they will not.
No, no one else sleeps with us.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. Like you're here one day in 4, maybe 3,
Maybe.
and I'll choose the dogs. Gonna choose the dogs. Gonna choose the kids. Gonna choose the dogs. You guys should come out. We'll have a barbecue.
I guess Janelle living in this trailer wouldn't be too far off of the mobile home that we lived in. When you're living in a 3-bedroom with 3 wives, you have to have a lot of patience.
All right, lovelies, let's say goodbye because I have somewhere I have to go. You guys are the best. This is fun. I'm just so nervous for Janelle.
But at least she's being nice and supportive about it.
I don't want to be a downer at all for her, but gosh, I just don't think Cody's going to like it there at all. Just saying it. And it's just like another excuse to stay at Robin's house. Sorry.
Robin makes it convenient for me to be there. She reinforces my relationship with my children. You know, why am I going to sit here and suffer with you with your choices?
I think it's his own fault that he didn't try to find her a better place to live. If he was so upset about her living at this RV, then he should have tried harder to give her a better place to live. And he really has no right to complain.
So McKelty called me right as I was walking down the stairs into the kitchen. And I said, yeah, I'm excited to move. And then I heard a gasp. And I looked behind me and there was Truly. So I sat Truly down and I told her, she's in tears and she's like, well, can I just go to my room? I said, well, there's more. And she goes, are you and Dad getting divorced?
I think it might have been a safer conversation for her to just have with my mom rather than also with my father.
And her little face was so heartbroken.
Like all of her friends that like have had divorces, all of my friends that whose parents have had divorces, it sucks. And their parents have this terrible relationship and it makes their lives miserable.
It was already done and already a done deal. And so I just said, you know what? Have you noticed anything really that different between Dad and I? Have you noticed?
Good point.
She sets Truly up with, well, Dad's never here anyway, right?
But is she wrong though?
So if my relationship is bad with my younger children, it's not always my fault.
It is.
It's that I haven't had a mother who has been willing to actually help that.
It's not fair of him to blame it on my mom when he's the one that's not showing up. I'm probably the worst one in the situation because I complained all the time about how my dad hadn't showed up. Like, whenever he would mention anything about Noelle not recognizing him or it feeling different, I would always be like, well, you're not here ever, so it's definitely not my mom. It was most likely, if anybody was feeding information to her, it was probably me.
I just know that I'm going to remember this moment for the rest of my life as the day I broke Truly's heart.
Either way, it's not her fault. It's not my fault either. It's Dad's fault.
And now I have to tell Cody too that she knows.
I feel like talking to him during this time was probably so difficult because he just seems like he's just blaming and blaming a lot. It's over. It's so hard not to binge this, honestly. I'm excited to see, or I'm nervous to see the conversation that my mom and my dad have about truly finding out that they're divorced. I haven't seen that yet. I don't think I even heard about it. That's going to be really scary to watch. I'm like a little scared now about how he's going to talk to her because I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me. People are saying that it gets harder and it gets worse, and I'm like, this is already the toughest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I'm really nervous to see how the conversation between my mom and my father goes about truly finding out, and I hope he doesn't accuse her of anything, and if he does accuse her of anything, it's either his fault that the thinking happened and he's just blaming her for no reason, or it's my fault because I complained a lot about him not showing up when we lived back in the Bader home before they actually like officially divorced. I complained about it so much. It was really excessive, and I, like, a lot of the time I'd be like, I don't even want to be around him if he doesn't want to be around me. One time he and I got in the weirdest argument about like Andrew Jackson or something. I was like, yeah, weird president, weird guy. I think he did the Trail of Tears or something. I don't remember. Whoever it was that did the Trail of Tears. I was like, that was a really messed up guy. And Dad was like, you're a terrible daughter. Why would you say that? He was an amazing president. And I was like, okay. And then he yelled at me and ran out. And so I start crying. I'm like, why doesn't my father love me? And my mom just sitting there, like, probably after already having decided that she's going to divorce him. And she was like, yeah, I'm sorry that you don't have a really good relationship with your father. That was a lot of information. But yeah, I was probably the most verbal about him not being active in our lives. So if anybody's to blame, it's actually him. But if anybody's to blame about like talking about it, it's also probably him, but a little bit me for that. So every episode, or every time I watch this, I like to answer the 10 most popular questions, most favorited questions. But my patrons have reached out to me and pointed out that they want to keep it to a Patreon only thing. So I'll be answering those questions, but that's going to be a Patreon exclusive content. If you want to go to the link in the description, you can find my Patreon or my link tree if you want to go through it that way, and you'll be able to join the Patreon and see all of the answers and all the things I've talked about. So the first one is from Charmaine Garnham. They ask, how do you and your siblings feel about the way your dad has spoken to your mom? And Janelle, it seems like he'd be happy to be in a monogamous relationship with Sabin only. I think it's rude. I think it's very rude and very selfish. And I definitely agree that it seems that he would rather be in a monogamous relationship, which is very ironic because he has been complaining a lot about my mom leaving. And overall, it's just rude. And if you want to be in a relationship with multiple people, you need to give them all the amount of attention that you give whichever one's your favorite, for example. Then Evelyn Ramirez Gomez asks, does your little sister truly have her room at Sabin's house already, and how often does she really see her dad? So about half the time that my mom and Tree visited, I feel like they went over to Robin's house, and I think most of the time they filmed her at Robin's house to prove that like my dad had some sort of relationship with her, but it wasn't really as often as it seems. If they included all of the content, she definitely hung out with me and with mom and other siblings a lot more often. And I don't think she had a room at Robin's house. I don't think it'd be necessary for her to have a room, but maybe she like slept with the kids or something. Care Bear asks, is Aurora a princess? I asked because she seems really confused about the bed situation, and I'm wondering if she has some sort of princess and the pea thing going on where she thinks everyone needs 20 mattresses and 20 duvet toppers. I think with the bed situation, she genuinely might have just thought that the dogs were getting their beds, because there are about 5 beds in that one room where Savannah has. I doubt it was intentionally rude. To me, they didn't really seem like they were coming off as super rude, but maybe they were just happy that they didn't have to live in that kind of situation that Savannah was living in. But I don't really think it was specifically for the intent of being rude. Pam Schultz has, I think, 4 questions. I'm just gonna like put them all into like however many questions. Well, I'll count it later. It probably doesn't matter. So Pam Schultz, we've seen Truly at Sabin's house. That is a popular name. I'll have to look more about that. We've seen Truly at Sabin's house once on the show. Has she been there more? And it isn't being shown. So I answered this question earlier, so I think I'll just take that one off. Basically, she been there, but it's not often, like at all. Like, yeah, my mom's complained about it a bit. So those are all the questions for this season 17, episode 6. If you want to ask any more questions, you can go to my Patreon, and under the season 17, episode 7 section, you can ask your question, or you can reach out to me specifically in a DM and ask me about it. If you are interested in watching more Sister Wives episodes, you can go to discoveryplus.com, or you can become one of my patrons on Patreon. I'll put it in the description in the video if you want to check that out. And if you're interested in this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and give this video a like, and even leave a comment, maybe say hello, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching.